Hey everyone, Sky here to discuss Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 1. Starring Daniel Radcliffe, Rupert Grint, Emma Watson, Helena Bonham Carter, Robbie Coltrane, Warwick Davis, Ralph Fiennes, Michael Gambon, Brendan Gleeson, and Richard Griffiths, and directed by David Yates. Now, was I excited about seeing this movie? And Part 2? Well, I'll talk about Part 2 next week, but this one, I wanted to see what it was like to see Part 1 versus Part 2. But I don't know if I was excited about this movie in general, but I was excited to see what Part 1, Part 2 would do. Let's get into this movie. Minister Rufus Scrimgeour, forgive me if I said that wrong, played by Bill Nighy, says to the magic world, these are dark times, and I thought after last week I agreed that these next two movies will be dark. And I said two before because it's the first of the irritating Part 1, Part 2 movies. But this was the first movie that did the Part 1, Part 2 stuff. And they repeat it with other movies like and the opening of this movie of Harry, Hermione, and Ron preparing for war was decent, which is the best I can give it. Voldemort, returned by Ralph Fiennes, has a meeting with his Death Eaters, and it ends with a volunteer as a snake getting eaten up. And I actually like that scene with Voldemort and his army meeting. This movie is shot completely dark lens. It was almost hard to see what was going on in this movie. That's going to be a real problem throughout the movie. Hagrid with Mad-Eye Moody and Harry's friends show up and save him from Voldemort's army by disguising everyone as Harry, and that was so hard to see what in the hell was going on. And when they fly as Harry against Voldemort's army, and Hedwig, I know, gets killed, and I thought, did you just kill an owl? That got me to turn against this movie, and I usually have a problem with innocent animals getting harmed in movies. Then Voldemort and Harry try to kill each other, and Voldemort doesn't kill Harry, but they arrive at the Weasley's place, and Remus Lupin, remember him from Part 3? Asks Harry a question of what he remembers when he first goes into his office. And this is the darkest Harry Potter film ever shot. We'll get darker next week. And it's bad looking as well, I'm afraid to say. Minister Rufus comes by the Weasley's place and gives out the will of Dumbledore. Ron gets his light catcher, Hermione gets a book, and Harry gets a golden snitch and a missing sword from Gryffindor, the person of Gryffindor, I should say. And I thought it didn't make sense. How did someone steal it? It bothered me so bad until we get to later in the movie. Luna and her father, Xenophilius Lovegood, forgive me if I said that wrong, played by Rhys Ifans, who's briefly in this, and like the Amazing Spider-Man, is another bad performance, and I think it's the actor's fault. He can't perform in movies very well. Harry, Ron, and Hermione go to an area in England from the Weasleys' house at a wedding to a cafe where they have a wand fight. Kind of like a headache. It felt like a headache, and it was too shaky for me to see, but yet this whole movie is hard to see. There's a locket Harry, Ron, and Hermione try to destroy, and the MacGuffin of the movie, I should say, is at the Ministry of Magic, where the newest minister with Dolores Umbridge, yes, she's back, unfortunately, trying to find Harry and his friends at their number one priority, and the house elf with Dobby, and they find someone who can find it. Harry, Ron, and Hermione disguised themselves as other people we've never met before, and they find the locket and run into Dolores with some comedic stuff in an awkward situation. And as soon as they have it, Harry, in a disguise, says to Dolores, You must not tell lies, and she got what she deserves. Seriously, good riddance. But that whole sequence was rather awkward. So, is Wizarding World's most wanted man being spotted? They escape was just stupid. Just stupid. The locket is indestructible, and when they tried to destroy it, it felt rather unconvincing, and I'm having a very stressful time with this movie, but not as stressful as The Order of the Phoenix, and it's kind of boring as well. They're going on foot while Ron holds the locket on his neck, which, when someone holds it, it makes this person very upset, but the problem is, when they wear it, it makes Harry and Ron rather too unlikable. Harry finds the snake, who I'm led to believe is Voldemort's, but I could be wrong, and Hermione and Harry fight it off, which was again too shaky cam, and then we go back to more boringness, and for a 2.5-hour film, it's a bad thing. Harry goes into ice water and doesn't purposely suffocate himself, and Ron saves his ass, excuse my French, and finds a way to destroy the locket, and Ron sees an image of Harry and Hermione smooching up the storm, and I thought, what was that all about? And Ron destroys it with the sword of Gryffindor, which Hermione says, how did Harry find that sword? I agree with her. How did Harry find that sword? This script is a mess. Harry, Ron, and Hermione go to the Lovegood house, and they talk about the symbol on his neck, which is the Deathly Hallows, and Hermione tells the story of the three brothers who got powers of, say, the Elder Wand. And that was beautifully animated, but I didn't believe it that much. And how is that possible? Emma Watson's acting. I just didn't believe it from the way she said it. They go to another area and get attacked and chased by Voldemort's soldiers, and Hermione shoots Harry with her wand, and Harry has a vision of Gellert Grindelwald, who's not going to be Johnny Depp in this movie, but it will be eventually when we get to Fantastic Beasts, telling Voldemort where the Elder Wand is and who's at it possessed, and Voldemort's men bring them to Bellatrix, takes them to Draco Malfoy, returned by Tom Felton, to see if it is Harry, and they put Harry and Ron in prison, with Luna and Dobby coming in to save them, and Bellatrix tries to kill Dobby, or actually does successfully kill Dobby with a knife, and that was a hard scene to watch, because Dobby transfers them to a beach and buries Dobby, which I felt so bad for Dobby, but the scene was terribly shot. Voldemort gets the Elder Wand, and it just ends like a snap of a finger. It was just irritating. Ending cliche for a Part 1, Part 2 movie. Now this happens so much, it bugs me so bad. Now it's time for the rating. I'll give this movie a 4.7 out of 10. This thing is super dark and hard to follow and watch. I found it very irritating, and the comedic moments were just seriously so bad. There is some good stuff in here, but unfortunately, I can't care for it like a full-length movie, and that's very irritating, but I can't skip it if I'm watching Part 2 of the Deathly Hallows, and that's going to be next week. So I'd like to thank you guys for joining me, and I will be back with Part 2 of Deathly Hallows. And until next time, hold that thought. Sunshine daisies. Turn the stupid camera off.